Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Zoom Into Wine. It's time for the show and your host, Ian Blackburn. All right, my friends, let's get going. It's 7 o'clock Wednesday, time to Zoom Into Wine. This is Ian Blackburn here in Los Angeles. Beautiful day. Hope everyone's doing well. Let's get started with our program tonight. Every week we get together with some great people from all over this great land and talk about wine. Tonight we're talking about thrillers from Baja. And I've got my friend Gil Gutierrez. Gil Gu is
Gil
on.
Gu.
Yes.
Yeah, Gil Gutierrez, Gil, Gigi. I'm okay.
All right.
I'm not picky.
We've got some really fun wines tonight, gang. I hope you got the wines in front of you. We're going to get right into it. Gil, we're going to go to one of the great all-time ambassador brands of Baja, wine, the wine guru himself.
Well, thank you so much, Ian. You know, this Casa de Piedra, it's a very fun wine. Well, first off, a little bit about the Valle de Guadalupe region. It's a very hot and dry climate, and it's pretty close to the ocean. So a lot of the white wines are going to be more meant for seafood. And this is a great example. This is from Casa de Piedra is the producer, and the winemaker is Hugo da Costa. This is all stainless steel. It's got no oak. So the idea behind this wine, it's meant to be paired with fresh seafood. It's very bright, nice acidity, nice aromas. It's an expression of that Grenache Blanc. And funny story about this, the Piedra de Sol is, Hugo da Costa, when he first started Casa de Piedra, he started making two wines, a red wine, which is a Captain Planillo, and Piedra de Sol. And back in those days, he kind of went with the more popular grapes, planted Chardonnay. And little by little, that Chardonnay just didn't like the heat. You know, there is a hot and dry climate. Chardonnay was not too healthy. Over the years, the yield that he was getting from that Chardonnay was a lot less. There's Casa de Piedra. So he was getting about 10 tons of grape. Little by little, it came down about 6 tons. And where did that fruit go? The Chardonnay didn't like the heat. It wasn't producing as much. So he had to make a decision. Either he had to water that Chardonnay a lot more, or he had to rip out that Chardonnay and plant something that's going to be a little more drought tolerant. And that's when this Chenin Blanc kind of about 6 years ago.
Grenache Blanc.
Yeah, excuse me, Grenache Blanc. The Grenache Blanc. And on the nose, it's nice aromas.
Salty.
Little salinity. You know, that's one of the characteristics of the soils in Valle de Guadalupe. A lot of times the water basin doesn't get replenished in time. So then the minerality is a little bit more present. But I think it's more of a hint. It's a nice little minerality where it doesn't overpower it. It just kind of adds a little touch, little hint.
This is the grape that we're all supposed to turn to in the warm months of summer. Grenache Blanc is a absolute porch pounder, perfect for the heat. Won't slow you down. So good with the seasonal food. It's I think some people kind of look to like some Santa Barbara producers or some Paso producers, and they don't necessarily think Grenache Blanc here because it doesn't say it anywhere on the label. But it is the wine of a legend in Baja, and I love this version.
You know, we love the Chenin, but I think this is much more fitting for the climate, and the acidity is a little bit more structured. So it definitely was a good move. And if you look at the front of the bottle, it says Ensenada, Mexico. And when he first planted the vineyard, Valle de Guadalupe was not really popular. Nobody knew about Valle de Guadalupe. So that's why he put Ensenada, Mexico on the label, because as a point of reference, Ensenada is about maybe 40 minutes south of Valle. So it's relatively close. but still that's more of the town. So back in those days, if you put Valle de Guadalupe on the label, people would think it was in Guadalajara or somewhere further south. And he's always left it there just as the origin, the Ensenada.
So it's also a good place to consider staying because the wine country itself, there's a few properties that they have there can get pretty pricey, get filled up, and Ensenada is a great alternative destination to stay. So,
Yeah.
So is this vineyard
yeah,
close
more
to
options.
Mina Penelope?
say that again, Peter.
Is this vineyard close to Mina Penelope?
So Mina, Penelope, they are actually on the same road as you're coming up off of the toll road and you go inland east. It's kind of a windy road, and Penelope is towards the top on that last sharp turn. So if we're talking about distance from Penelope to Casa de Piedra, it's less than 10 minutes on that same road. So they're pretty close.
No shortage of rock.
No, and that's a lot of his brother is one of the well-known architects in the area, Alejandro da Costa, and he's known as a repurpose, reuse kind of guy. Whatever he finds locally, that's what he wants to use, and a lot of it was rock that was from the property.
Well, this is a wine that sells for $28, even with all the legend of the namesake Hugo de Costa and his reputation, his longevity, his now family. This is also our best-selling brand from Mexico, and so it's building in popularity. I want to continue to see it shine. And since we're doing this program right in the middle of the dead of summer, couldn't start with a more appropriate wine than this Grenache Blanc. I did recently, Gil, add Grenache Blanc to the name of the wine on the screen, hoping I didn't screw up Wine Searcher doing that. But it is it is one of our bestsellers in the Mexican wine category.
And it's one of the things that he's always said he likes to add value.
Mm-hmm.
So that price point is very, very friendly. It's great. Good price point.
It's great. And am I mistaken, or is he also involved in the Arbogine?
Yes, Aborigen.
Aborigen.
Yes. He's definitely involved. Over the years, what happens, the family grows, and he has a son, two daughters, and his son, Lucas de Costa, he wanted to make wine, so he went to school in South Africa. He went to Italy, and then he finally came back home and he says, Dad, now I want to learn from you. So at that time, Casa de Piedra is very rigid. They make sparkling wines. They make that Grenache Blanc and a red wine. So he knew, being a young winemaker, he wanted to kind of be creative. He wants to express himself. And that's when Aborigen was born. So Aborigen is actually on the property of Casa de Piedra. It's on the back side of it. As you drive on the street, you can't really see Aborigen, but it's on the back side. There's a slight hill, and that's where Aborigen's at. And the thing
you say that, you mean that's where the wine grapes are grown, or that's where it's made?
That's where it's actually made, because Hugo da Costa has been in Valle for, he's currently 68 years old. He's probably been there at least since, he's actually born and raised in Querétaro, but he's been making wine in Valle de Guadalupe from his early 20s. And the reason why I mention this is because there is a story in Mexico. If you make wine, you've either bought something from Hugo, you sold him something, or you took a class from him. And this is a very good example, because the Aborigen, the grapes come from Querétaro. So he's got some partnership with a grape producer out there. So every year, either him or his son, they go out to Querétaro and they make the wine in Querétaro. But in the juice format, they ship it back to Valle de Guadalupe, and then it gets bottled in Aborigen. It's a very interesting story. It was very creative in that sense. He used to have a partnership in Bordeaux, France called Contrast, and it was half wines from Mexico and half from France. And the reason why that stopped, because he said the harvests were almost around the same time, so it's very challenging. But this is 100% Querétaro. The difference from Querétaro, it's a slightly cooler climate. The Valle de Guadalupe, 30 to 32 degrees north of the equator. We're a lot. It's a hot, dry climate, where Querétaro is going to be much cooler, get a lot more water. Perfect for sparkling wines, white wines. As far as red wines, you're not going to get the same full ripening as you would in Valle de Guadalupe. So there are a lot of good white wine options in Querétaro, and also sparkling wines.
Interesting. I'm so glad you're here to make the pronunciations correct. Peter, I know you'll appreciate this. My wine app is saying that on the biodynamic calendar today is a fruit day, and these
that's great.
Both these first two wines, the noses are so beautiful, so nice and in balance, and really showing off. The Chenin is got some really cool, like a little bit more upfront plush pear, a little, that more oily texture. That is Chenin Blanc, whereas that Grenache Blanc was just ready to cut right through your food dishes, etc., and cleanse your palate. Really, really great kind of juxtaposition. Both wines. This is 100% Chenin. Chenin being very famous in regions like in the Loire Valley. Wines from Vouvray. Very famous from South Africa. They call it Steen. So I won't say there's a ton of Chenin Blanc from Mexico, but there's a good amount. They're not alone making the Chenin Blanc, but because the Hugo da Costa brand and family are kind of standing behind it, I think it just adds another quality checkbox, and really textbook beautiful.
For sure, it's a very fun wine, and that's part of the Aborigen. It's the name Clandestino, the clandestine, the forbidden, the unspoken of. So that kind of goes along with the label. You'll see throughout the vintages they change the front label, and that's part of the playfulness of Aborigen.
It's absolutely delicious. I think it is quite a bit more fruit forward than the typical Loire, which is a little more spicy for me, but I like that fruit forwardness. Yeah, I got a question. I wonder if you guys know the answer to this. So up here in the valley in Santa Rita Hills, everybody who is a winemaker will ask each other about harvest and sugar and pH and whatever right now. Have they started picking down the Valle de Guadalupe?
There has been a couple of the producers that started picking, and we're getting texts from them saying that it's not typical. Like you normally don't start picking a few weeks or months later. There was a couple of white wines that were being picked in mid-July.
Yeah. And Peter, how about in Santa Barbara? Where are you guys at?
Well, we just had dinner with Don over at from Sea Smoke the other day. He picked for sparkling wine on June 20. He picked for that, believe it or not.
June.
But,
wow.
Yeah, but Jeff Nielsen from Liquid Farm. By the way, I should say hi to you, Ian, from Jeff. So
hi,
Jeff just brought in Chardonnay fiddlesticks yesterday. So it's very early.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, I remember picking my Zinfandel on August 14th in 2015, and that was the earliest Zinfandel harvest ever. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. June 20th. Wow. I mean,
Really?
Bud break must have been like January 20th or something like that then, which is very possible how warm our winters are now.
Yeah, it was one of the earliest bud breaks that we've ever had up here, and also a nice warm, kind of moderate to warm spring, and then a bunch of heat spikes the last couple of months.
Hey everybody, I'm working hard on the trips and should have my Napa Valley trip available by the weekend. Washington, probably not by the weekend, but I do have a Sonoma component coming together. Probably we shifted some of these dates around, so by the next time we Zoom, we'll have a really good Zoom, active link list of trips for 27. New Zealand is working now. We've got New Zealand up and available, and then we turn our attention out towards San Sebastian, Spain. Tuscany's almost put together. Barolo's practically done. So 27 is going to come together really nicely, and I'm looking forward to a really active year, being on the road a lot in 27. We'll move into our third wine, which was actually my first ever visit when I went to Baja many years ago. I was with the Society of Wine Educators, and we went down there as a group. And our first stop was Adobe Guadalupe, and what a beautiful spot. I've always loved the wines. They were inspired by some tragedy, and they're still going. And they've got a great winemaker. They've got everything going for them. Owner's getting quite old now, but it's a wonderful operation. And Gil, I know you don't have these guys in your portfolio, but you do know the winemaker pretty well, right?
You know, the winemaker, he's from Chile, Daniel Lamberg, and we've worked on a couple of projects together. Really nice guy. And one of the things about him is his first job was working at Concha y Toro. So he eventually got recruited by Hugo da Costa as he expanded. And you know, the Valle de Guadalupe, there was a lot of collaboration. So I believe Hugo da Costa, when the Millers first moved out there, the story has it that they were having dinner in Ensenada, and somebody poured them some wine from Valle, Mr. Miller, and we really liked it. And at the time, he was getting older, ready to retire, and he didn't know that there was winemaking in that part of Baja. So then they went and they met with Hugo, and Hugo at the time was very inspiring in the sense of, if Valle de Guadalupe is going to compete with other wineries, you got to have competition. You got to have other types of wines. You can't have one person making wine. So Mr. Miller says that Hugo talked him into buying a winery and building this beautiful, wonderful place. And back in those days, Daniel Lamberg was working for Hugo. So it was kind of like a natural migration where he just stayed with the Millers after their contract was over. And Daniel Lamberg has been their winemaker since then.
Outstanding.
They're big fans. Like they knew exactly what kind of wines they like. They like that Chateauneuf de Pape. So very structured, nice, bold wines. And they do focus more on the reds, and then they're the probably one of the few ones that have the larger format bottles. Beautiful place.
I stayed there, and they make you breakfast in the morning, huevos rancheros, of course, and it was really an enjoyable spot. The background. Oh, also. When I went with, maybe it was on the second visit, I went with an art curating team, and they were linked with KCRW. And in the vineyards, they have some art. And the artist who did some of the art in the vineyards has become quite famous. I do own a couple of pieces. Hopefully, they're worth more than I paid for them. They're beautiful. They're my favorites. They're still on my wall. But the artist came in because the miller's son was really the instigator of this project, Adobe Guadalupe. And he passed away suddenly and unexpectedly in a tragic way. And so the whole family kind of got into this project to fulfill the son's dreams. And each of the wines that they make are named after a different angel. And they, this one's, well, it's got the Secret Garden is the name of this one, but they also have the Angel series that they have. And so there's a lot of spirituality and family connection on this with this property and the longevity, and it's often the winery that people associate with first because of the fact that they have accommodations and they have all that stuff fixed up. How we doing, Gil? Are you okay there?
Yeah, it's whenever we visit them, the thing that always catches me is how accessible the owners are. Mr. Miller has passed on, but there are so many times where we show up, there's a food truck there, and we're having their wines, and Miss Miller comes out, and she always has a story, as far as like each wine. What are you drinking today? Oh, that's my favorite. And as you mentioned, they're named after angels, like the Archangel, and there's Curiel, Raphael. So there's quite a few. And the fun part, what we like to do in a big group is we buy the larger format bottles. It just kind of, it's always fun whenever you find them out there. But he had mentioned about the artist. If you got that a while back ago, that might be worth some money because it's the De La Torre brothers, and they've done a lot of the like the steel structures, and now they got into lenticular prints, and they did this. We saw him on one of our tours, and he was talking about this big giant spine that he did for one of the local hospitals. But that whole property, they used to do an actual tasting where you could taste with the winemaker, and they're dancing. They're called Azteca horses. But getting back to the wines, I know that Daniel Lamberg, he likes to have more of a gentle approach as far as the reds, more of second and third use. It's a little bit more fruit forward. But I always like how he does a nice, good structure with these guys. Very, very food friendly, approachable.
And that's the other connection with Hugo de Costa is I asked him long ago, said, what's going to be the grape of Baja? What grapes? Maybe that he would tell me. And he's like, I think Mexican wine is going to be like a mosaic. And I loved that description. And if you look at this wine here, Tempranillo, Mourvèdre, Nebbiolo, Grenache. No one does that. I mean, I think it even inspired Paso, blends a little bit. And anyone can kick in. Peter, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I just want to say I think this is like delicious. It has got such a great spice and dark fruit to it. And it's interesting combination because it's almost like a Rioja meets Rhone meets Piedmont. But I was wondering if that Nebbiolo is a Nebbiolo or a Nebbiolo MX.
Uh-oh.
He's
going off-road. He's going off-road.
The theory.
I'm sorry about that, because they have a Nebbiolo over there, and it's called something with Alexandria. They have a Nebbiolo version over there that's really not a typical Piedmont Nebbiolo, but it's a little more spicy, and I love it.
Cool.
I think there's two versions of it, and who knows who's got what version or the second version. It'd be fun to kind of go around and try and taste them and see if we could pick up little hints of them. But we have heard that.
I carry a couple different Nebbiolos, and I've heard that as well, Peter. I don't. I wish I knew the answer to your question. But
Sorry about
yeah,
that. Then I have one more question for you, Ian. When was the first time, your first trip down to Baja and to Valle de Guadalupe, and what have you seen of changes? Because I think it's such an exciting region, and what I've seen from when I went there first time 20 years ago until I've been there 3 times the last year, is just like mind blowing what's been happening.
I was there in the late 1990s, right after Adobe Guadalupe got started. I believe it was 98. And then returned shortly after that, and then another time with the group in the early 2000s, and then just a couple of years ago went with the group as well. So it was pretty big jump from like 2005 to maybe 2019. So 15 years later, when we were there in 2005, everything was a dirt road. You couldn't drive over 5 miles an hour in the big bus that we were in because of all the dirt. So the transportation was a little rugged, still not perfect, but the number of tasting rooms, the type of tasting rooms, and probably the biggest thing that changed, there were a couple great restaurants back in the day, but now there's so much food to go see in addition to great wineries, in addition to, beautiful tasting rooms. The infrastructure has really come a long way. And so it's a great alternative visit. You know what's weird about it's as close as it is to us. It is not necessarily like built to be like a California retreat. It's really popular with people from all over the world. And when I go down there, I'm always amazed at the diversity of people and where they're coming from. And maybe they're from the States, but there's a lot of people there from Canada, from Europe, from South America, from Asia. And I really think it's just a great alternative destination. It's really a lot of fun. All right, we're going to move along. We're still talking about this phenomenal blend. Tempranillo, of course, Spanish, Mourvèdre being from south of France, Nebbiolo from Italy, and then the red Grenache. Grenache is probably the one grape that is planted almost everywhere. And another look at the property and the bottle. About $40 a bottle. Always delivers on the promise. It's great. We're moving into a new wine here in the store. This is the Buhler Graciano, and this is a brand that kind of, I don't know how long they've been in existence. I was trying to get the importer to join us tonight, but they're not able. But this is from Baja as well. And Graciano is a really interesting grape, often found in Rioja and accidentally found in Paso Robles when they thought they were planting Mourvèdre and they were planting Graciano. A French ampelographer was walking through the vineyard by the name of Michel Roland, I think is who it was, he was walking through the vineyard and he's like, "What is this?" And they, "Oh, that's our Mourvèdre." And he goes, "This is not Mourvèdre, this is Graciano," because he knew the leaf. And it wasn't the one winery, it was like every winery that thought that they got Mourvèdre for their GSMs were actually making GSGs. And Graciano has really become a primary grape for the Paso region. I love it when I taste it in its singular form. It's a pretty punctuated grape variety, and so I was really excited to try something from Baja, and Ron Buhler is the producer. There's also a Buhler in Napa Valley, but I don't think there's any connection between the two names. But there's a beautiful shot. 100% Graciano this time. So let me get some in my glass and taste it with you guys. I would love to get you guys involved and have you guys give me a little bit more input. I see a little bit of chat activity. Catherine, I know you're up in Northern California in wine country and working in the wine business too, right? Oh, let me get you unmuted.
Lodi.
Lodi. All right.
No Snickers.
And which brand are you associated with?
Michael David.
Awesome. We give those a lot of gold medals at the LA County Fair.
Yeah, did very well this year.
All right. Well, Graciano is probably something you've got in Lodi. You've got a lot of different varietals, Iberian varieties. Yeah, 100% Graciano. It's a unique story, and it delivers on the big red, the darkness, the richness, even some florals, maybe a little hint of menthol. That's pretty cool when you think about it. Back up again and go back in and think menthol. That's pretty. Woo, wow, damn it! How come I didn't pick that up before? But lavender is something I could totally even picture when I was reading it. Beautiful stuff. And there's a lot of personality here, and that plays really well in the Rioja game too. A lot of Graciano in Rioja. Third most popular Spanish grape variety in Rioja. There you go. So really a fun grape. Not planted everywhere, but pretty excitable. You got any in Santa Barbara, Peter, that you know of? Peter's a social networker. I'm imagining there's winemakers walking in and out of his house 24/7.
As there should be.
There's the Buhler house. Any Graciano, Peter, in Santa Barbara?
There gotta be something, but I'm not sure where. Maybe out in the eastern ends, maybe St. Ines Vineyard. I think they have some. They're way out eastern, the Happy Canyon.
There's got to be something in Bienacido. Everything else is out there, right?
Remember some years ago, we made wine for, I'm sure you know Matt Kedman. And he brought some grapes in and he told me it was Mourvedre, and he called me half a year later and told me exactly what you said. It's not Mourvedre, it's Graciano. And that was from what's called Santa Barbara Highlands Vineyard out there in Cuyama.
Ah, but also a Miller family property, right? Maybe not. No, that's out in that's where they grow carrots.
Exactly. That's where they have the big carrot dispute right now.
Excellent. Well, this one takes a step up in price, $52.95 for the Buhler. It's not a brand I've seen before, but I did notice the label, and it's Pops. And I did really like the wine. I tasted it amongst 30 or 40 different Baja wines, and it was one of my favorites of the day. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. We're going to go into another wine with Gil involvement, Vinos Kruger.
Yes, sir. Vinos Kruger. And I think the winemaker is joining us. Has he popped up on the screen?
Maybe. I might not have noticed. Let me see if he's still there.
Guadalupe Kruger?
Yeah, let me check. Is he out there? I don't see him yet, buddy.
Let's take a look. He's texting.
Okay.
Looks like he's connecting.
Okay. It's a good juncture here. We're running pretty nicely ahead of schedule too. Does anybody have any questions about any of the wines? Any comments? Baja is pretty diverse, and I don't think everyone, when you start thinking you're going to wine country, you might even hit one of the big classic old school wineries, and they'll have a Chardonnay, and they'll have a Cab, and they'll have, that kind of stuff. And then you go to the next place, and they've got 20 other grape varieties and 20 other grape varieties somewhere else. They're definitely exploring the space and seeing what can work, and it's and blends are just truly what I think make their world go around down there.
You have some signature blends, like a few Captain Tempranillos and the Rhone varietals, a couple of GSMs. There's a really nice, we call it a GSMC because they put a little bit of Counois. So it's Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre, and Counois. So there are some pretty specific, blends out there, and some that are more free-spirited. And sometimes they change a little bit. You like a certain vintage, and then next year it might be a different grape. At the end of the day, it's farming.
Gil, what's some of your favorite restaurants down there?
Oh my. We have the casual spots, the easy, affordable, and then we have like the little more on the fine dining. Like there's a place called Lunario, and
Yeah, my favorite.
Oh, it's delicious. I mean, it's a whole dance. You sit there, and it's either I believe a 6 or an 8 course. You're there for 3 hours. You could either do the wine pairing or bring your own. It's not a big place. It probably has I would say, oh, there's Eduardo.
Eduardo, how are you, sir?
Is he still driving?
Yes.
Yes, he is driving.
Another one is Deckman's. Deckman's is also.
And the thing about Deckman's, he had his restaurant. Hi, Eduardo.
Hey, let's hold that conversation about Deckman's and welcome Eduardo, because we don't want to cause him to crash his car.
Don't worry. The only thing I wouldn't be just watching to the camera, but I can be talking to you.
Yeah, you don't have to look. You just watch the road.
Yeah.
We love the information from the source, man. We're going straight to, what freeway are you on? Where are you?
I'm just arriving to Ensenada, just entering to the city. I drive from San Diego. I was over there the whole evening.
All right. Well, we're going right into your 24 Cabernet Sauvignon at this time.
So let's talk about it.
Yeah, we sold out of your 23 pretty quickly.
Perfect. That's the idea. An enjoyable wine.
Well, I want to get to know you in this brand. Tell us how long have you been making it?
Okay, that label we started on the 2020 as an experiment for a restaurant over there in Cancun.
Oh wow!
And on 21, when we started all this pandemic new era, was the wine that we were selling a lot, because it is a very fruity, very easy to drink wine. The main idea was a wine to enjoy with friends, no extreme pairing, just a wine that you can enjoy. It's 100% Cab from the 3 different valleys or main grape producers valley that we have here, that it's Ojos Negros, Valley of Guadalupe, and San Vicente. Same Cab, different terroir. The mainly difference of the 3 valleys that we have. Valley of Guadalupe, it's the valley that we almost know. It's the one that it's very touristic, but we don't have water. The soil is very sandy, and it has a lot of salt. Ojos Negros, the other way, It's the youngest vineyard that I have over there. It gives me a lot of fruit. It has clay over there and sand, and we have tons of grape over there. So we have the volume or the texture of our wine, mainly from Ojos Negros and from San Vicente. Over there, the valley, it's named Llano Colorado. It's named Red Valley. So the soil is 100% red. So the grape give us a lot of tannins, a lot of texture. It gives us the boldness. So we ferment each valley, each grape separately. The same yeast, same process, same temperature. And after we finish the fermentation, we blend the three grapes, the three different wines to make a unique wine. And then we put it on steel. And there's some tanks that they're named Enotank, that they're resins, enological resins that helps the oxygen to flow in and out. So it do the same process as a barrel, but without giving any flavor, just micro-oxygenation. So what we wanted to do on this wine, it's very easy to drink wine, very fruity, almost non-tannins, because we wanted to enjoy just chatting. It's a chatting wine.
It's a wine to go with conversation.
Yeah, exactly. I
And
always said the best pairing is your company.
That's correct. Perfect.
Hey, Eduardo, I got a question. How
Yeah, for
far
sure.
down south is St. Vincent from Valle de Guadalupe?
The what? I couldn't hear you.
How far away
How far
is San
down
Vicente?
south?
How far from San Vicente to Guadalupe? Okay, in a straight line, it's around 100 miles. Driving, we go on a truck with a grape with around 20 tons of grape. It's around a 4-hour driving.
That's good.
Yeah, because you have to cross the whole city. So it's around 1 hour of traffic in the city. It's not the distance, it's the curves and the traffic.
Well, you've got a beautiful little wine here. I think it is very enjoyable with, softer tannins and a supple texture. It definitely shows off its Cabernet skins, and you've got the slight hint of pyrazines and little
Red pepper.
pepper, yeah, and it's all in the nice proportion.
Yeah, it's a very light wine. If you want a big steak, a tomahawk or something to pair with a big meal, both mainly could not be the wine. This wine, I think it's for an entry, for chatting, because it's almost as a Beaujolais Nouveau. It's a very fresh wine, no oak.
I think it's got good complexity though, and I think it's quite on time, especially at this price point. It delivers a lot of wine, a lot of pleasure.
Yep.
And it's a great accomplishment by you. And
Thank you very much.
I think it's real consistent too, because we had the 23
and the 24.
Yes.
Yeah, we almost are leveling the 25, and in a couple of weeks we're going to receive the grape of the 26.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Vintage must be coming at you pretty fast.
Yeah, it is. This extreme weather that it's very hot right now.
Okay.
The harvest, the dates in between the white grapes and the red ones, we usually had around 45 to 50 days gap. I think this harvest will have less than a 15, 20 days.
Well, that's good that you got a little gap at least.
At least, yeah.
At least that's good.
Yeah.
Well,
And
thank
so
you
we
for
finished
making time.
fermentations of the white ones. We finished the white ones, and we started receiving the red ones.
All right. Well, I hope that harvest is great for you. And Gil,
Thank you very much.
thank you for coming together and making the event. I appreciate it, Eduardo. Pay attention to the road and don't get in trouble.
Yeah.
Appreciate your
Good
time.
luck.
Any
Thanks,
questions?
Eduardo.
Any questions from the group? Think you're good there, Eduardo. Thank you.
Okay. Anytime, it's a pleasure to be talking with you.
Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye now.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, Jill.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
All right, so we got one more vino to get to. It's Hilo Negro, another new one to the store. RicRac. This is Valle de Guadalupe, Baja, Mexico. Another wine from Daniel Lundberg. And this winery looks like it's a little bit more thought through and conceived as a winery.
Yeah, one of the partners is an architect, and he's the one that designed it. So when they sat down, they already had Daniel Lambert. So they asked him specifics as far as how was he going to place the tanks, what did he need. So there was definitely a lot of thought behind the structure and the property. And they're on the old road, more of the Porvenir side. So they're kind of up against the hillside. There's like they get a lot of the mountains are surrounded by the mountains, so they get a nice cool breeze all the way through.
Oh, you can see that an architect was involved here for sure. This is Cabernet Nebbiolo Syrah. And so obviously Landberg's got some experience blending those grape varieties together.
There's that Nebbiolo again. And the thing about this property, I believe they only use their own fruit. Their production is not that big, but they really want to showcase the winery as far as the vineyard, the property. They did do a collaboration with some grapes from Napa, and it was a lot of fun. I remember we shared that with them, but one of the owners did say it was very expensive, so it was a one-off. I don't think they would do it again. It gets expensive.
Well, as we explored before, the blending thing, and Landberg's really good at that. And this wine's got a little bit more refinement, I think, is the way I would describe this than say even, as much as I love the Adobe Guadalupe Jardin Secreto, this one's just got a little bit more of an elegant blended approach, a little bit more tender, not quite as bold, but maybe that's just my opinion, and I'd love to get yours. Tasting room, and I'm off to a pretty good start with this wine. I haven't had it that long, and people are pulling it through at a pretty good rate. And it kind of surprised me because my wines from Baja, as they get a little more higher price, tend to slow down pretty quickly. This one's hitting the 50 number and still selling through at a pretty good rate of speed. So they got a good thing going, and I want to compliment them because this was also on that same day that I was tasting the Graciano, and this was the second wine that I picked from that day, and I really enjoy it.
It's
I
got
think
nice.
it's delicious. I think there's consensus here that it's our favorite wine. So, Ian, I know that over the many years you've tasted incredible amount of Cabernet Sauvignons. And your $50, it's a very good value. What would you compare this to from like France?
Yeah, it's probably, if this were given to me in a blind tasting, I might put this in Chile just because of that little bit of a wild nose that it has there. Um, that might take me somewhere else, and maybe you know you just don't when you're tasting in a blind setting. I don't think you when you're checking boxes. I don't know if Baja has a box that I'm using because it's so like brand to brand and so different. But if I were in Chile, I would consider that close enough. I would be pretty happy that I put it there. But I do think that there's something a little bit more Bordeaux-esque about the way this wine is blended. Um, Even though some of the varieties are more Rhone and obviously from Piedmont, but just the way the mouthfeel, the tension, the 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 balance of it all. It's much more of claret style, and that I love that word too. I think it is much more of a claret style.
More of a left bank kind of thing.
Yeah, the
What
English.
do you think about the ageability of this?
Hmm. Well, this one says current vintage is 2022. I think there's plenty of tannin and balance here. I would love to see it in a couple more years for sure. It's already fun, but I don't think that you have anything to worry about with it becoming, a 10-year wine. And I think Daniel's making some wines that do have more promise than some. Um, this one's it looks like it's built to take the long road, and it taste and style. I think this is the one I would probably trust to go the longest way. But I do think that the wines of Baja kind of reward a pretty immediate gratification, and so it's kind of up to you how you like to drink wine. If you like wines with fruit, then enjoy your fruit and drink them young. But this one will get a little bit more earthier, a little bit more dustier over the 5-year plan, I think. And so, but I love the differences of wine. If I had to drink the same wine every day, I would not enjoy it so much. And having a little Baja in your life is a great idea. And that's why I love living in LA. Every day I can eat a different food. In the last week I've had Italian, Indian, Mediterranean, some chicken, barbecue. I mean, we get to enjoy it all at a very high level. And exploring the wine world and pairing them with all these options is really quite exciting for me. My parents live in Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina, and getting something outside of the normal set of food is a little bit of a special occasion. There are some great restaurants in Raleigh, Durham, by the way, but the selection's not quite as diverse or as numerous as we have. So to go out and support those restaurants, because they're all sitting there empty right now in the heat of August, and they need to see you, and be cognizant that some people have the wherewithal to be able to go out and help spend some money in some places. They need you at this time. It's been really a very slow season. Every retail store I walk into, every restaurant I'm walking into, We're all feeling it a little bit. And, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's adding up. So support those that you care to see live another day. And I appreciate your guys' support of us and being able to Zoom with you. It's, socially enjoyable. Love tasting the wines next to each other. I don't get to do this even in my own store unless we have a Zoom like this and I get to pull the corks next to other products. And just being able to chat with you guys is just really a lot of fun and special. We have made the full move here in Los Angeles. We're now shipping the kits on Mondays. We've built the pricing of the future Zooms in with the shipping. So if you guys will take a look at it with me for like Austria and Germany, you can pick now. The kit's $34 for next week. That's kind of a new thing. We made a couple of moves. I just brought in some great new inventory, and I really wanted to show some of it off. And so we repositioned the price. Some of you, if you paid extra, we sent you a note. We moved the price down. You got that back in the form of a credit, or you can have a refund if you'd like. But we now include the shipping price in the purchase. And that's from a systematic approach. It's just going to be better for everybody too. If you're outside of California, then there's that ticket there as well. There's still the bottle kits where we're going to invoice you separately for the delivery there. And we could combine the bottles with other bottles. That's the thinking. So I think it's working out. I think we came up with a pretty good plan to be able to survive in this new day and age without free local delivery in Los Angeles anymore. If you need something worked out, you need something quickly, we're shipping every day, and we're keeping the price $20 in Los Angeles, $30 in California, and $40 outside the state as long as you hit the dollar minimum outside the state. And that's about $300 outside the state. It's only $100 in California. So we keep it as tight as we can, and I'm actually going through the website one wine at a time and changing the pricing to 0 zeros. It's a signal to my team that I've adjusted the price. It's a signal to my team that I've reviewed the item, because we've had so many prices move around. Distributors change, things like that. So I've got 1,300 wines to do. It's going to take me a couple of months, but I'm going to do about 10, 15, 20 a day. And that's my process. Peter, did I answer your question?
And I just have a comment here. Ian, once again, I want to congratulate you for putting these Zoom shows on. It's just awesome. And it's so great. You always have so many interesting wines. And I mentioned earlier, we've been down to Valle, Guadalupe 3 times in the last year and a half or so. And those of you who live in Southern California and haven't been to Valle, Guadalupe, go down there. You're going to have a great experience, and then come back and buy some of Ian's wines.
Thank you, Peter. I not only do I love having you on the Zooms, but I love your input. Thank you so much. So check out the calendar, because we've now published all the way to the end of the year. The only one I don't know what the wines are yet are my top 6 of 2026. I'll wait until probably November to release that. But we've got some really fun topicality coming. Barolo versus Burgundy, dessert wines, Malbec and more. Oregon finds some great little Bordeaux thing, although I think she spelled Bordeaux wrong. She worked really fast to get these up, so I got to fix some things. But French finds, great values from Spain. Got a little Sangiovese thing coming down the pipe. Big time Paso, Australia. Lambrusco is coming up. And the Lambrusco thing kind of breaks the mold, because this is about a single bottle. So you can do either the 1 or the 2 bottles. We have a 2-bottle kit as well, where we have 2 different producers, and there are different grape varieties. But get involved, have a little Lambrusco with me on the 19th, or join me the week before for Austria and Germany. We got a special guest who's going to help me out with some of these greats as well. And I promise you, you'll really love this flight of wines. These are exciting, and you should know more about what's going on in Austria. Really special. And our German selections are marquee. Thanks, everybody. I hope you have a great night. And August is going to suck for my Dodgers, apparently. Lost 6 in a row. The most embarrassing streak of the year. They look terrible. Now, today they looked good. They were just playing a red-hot Cubs team. It's like everybody who's playing the Dodgers is red-hot right now. And the Dodgers are just kind of like, we're up 10 games in the division. We don't really care. So, Gil, you are the man. Thank you so much for making the time, my friend. It was so
My pleasure, Ian. It's always good spending time with you via Zoom or in person. It still counts.
well. We got another champagne tasting coming up, so I got to make sure you know about it. It's coming
Please.
end of September.
And cheers to everyone.
Thanks, Gil. Thank you, brother.
Guys.
Thank
Our
you so
pleasure.
much. Have a good night.
You as well. Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao.